Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. Today, we are going to be updating you on a whole lot of things that have been happening in the wrestling world with our wrestling expert, Mr. Jacob Mason. How are you doing today, sir?
Dude, I am good. I'm happy to be here. Ready to do another podcast. It's going to be a good time. Good things.
Good things. That's what I like to hear. So the biggest things is we're going to talk about AEW Full Gear that's happened weeks ago. We're going to talk about Survivor Series, catch you all up on what's going on as we're getting to the end of 2022. Oh, shoot. Jacob, Full Gear went down. How do you want to do? You want to just start at the biggest match? You want to work pick some matches? How are you feeling about it?
Let's just start from the bottom and work our way up. So
we'll start with the 10-man match.
Yeah.
So you had the Factory, Orange Cassidy, the Best Friends, and all that jizzy jazz. How did you? Best Friends came out on top. Yeah, they beat the Factory.
Oh yeah. Factory's just a job squad for AEW.
Oh man.
I mean, they are completely. I mean, they can work. They're jobbers. There's nothing wrong with that at all. They do their job well. So
That's true. So
pretty basic, pretty standard. I mean, I don't think anyone was shocked by this match.
Mm-hmm.
So Best Friends go over. It's good stuff.
Then you went from Full Gear World Title Eliminator Tournament semifinal. Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage. Starks defeated Cage. Were you okay with that?
Yeah, I was good with that because Starks is on this babyface run right now, and pretty much up until a month or two ago, he's been a heel the whole time in AEW. So it's nice seeing a fresh change, fresh face. I'm fine with it. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like AEW has a lot of big, impactful guys right now. I'm not saying they're Land of the Giants WWE 80 status, but there's a lot of meat in that ring. It's and I like Brian Cage. Brian Cage is good, but you have Brian Cage, you have Powerhouse Hobbs, you have Wardlow, you have Samoa Joe, you have that fucking Singh guy who's with Jay Lethal's group from Ring of Honor. He's fucking massive. There's a lot of big dudes in there, and Joe can stand out, and Wardlow's certainly standing out. I feel like something needs to happen with the rest of these guys to really make them stand out on their own.
What do you consider Eddie Kingston? Do you consider him a bigger guy, medium big?
I consider him I guess when I think big guy, I'm thinking muscle bound,
okay,
jacked up, Big Show-esque, Wardlow, Brian Cage-esque type person. Eddie Kingston is just, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, Eddie Kingston is a guy. And he's just fucking awesome at being just a guy. That's what I like about him.
He's because we're going to actually his match against June next where Kingston won. He's one of the two people I love hearing talk on AEW every time. Him and obviously
so real. Everything he says is real. I mean, me and my wife seen him in New York back in September, and just hearing him live was just sick. Dude knows what he's doing.
Like that line he said that night saying, just order the goddamn pay-per-view to the audience. I'm like, you called it right, man. He's just a guy. He's a guy's guy. You wouldn't think he's superstar Eddie Kingston. If you met him, he's just a guy, man.
He's a dude you meet at the bar.
Yes.
He's the tough guy at a bar, but the fun tough guy at a bar. And that's what makes him good. He knows his role, and he's just good at it.
After his match, you had Jungle Boy versus, I gotta make sure I say that right, Luchasaurus.
Yeah, Luchasaurus.
Okay, with Christian in the background. Jacob, Christian Cage just had his birthday recently and all that. I will never forget that one time AEW was hyping that we signed a Hall of Fame talent, and we were all wondering who it was. I don't know why it came up in my head, and it was Christian. And I was like, oh, no disrespect to Christian, but the way they were hyping that up was just those were some AEW good times.
God, that was such a disappointment. just straight up, and I've never been like a Christian guy. Like Christian, just like he was just Edge's entourage.
Yeah,
that's all he really was to me, and he just didn't do much for me. That's just the way it's been and always has been. Like when he came out, I was like, oh fuck, it's Captain Charisma. Here we go again. Everyone get excited. No one's excited. No one gives a shit.
How'd you feel about Perry Jungle Boy winning this one?
Oh, it's great. They're doing this storyline. It's a great storyline for Jungle Boy. This is just getting him ready to fill that main spot, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
So you have, what was it? I don't know how many months ago now. Christian turned on Jungle Boy. Then Luchasaurus turned on Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy's alone, which is good because you need Jungle Boy to stand. He needs to be able to stand on his own, do his thing, show the people what he can do. So I'm good with it. Match is good. Steel cage match. The elbow he threw off at the end, beautiful elbow. I'm happy with it.
Well, guys, this happened while we've been away. The Elite are back officially. So that happened from the time of our last podcast to now. We saw teasers, but they are officially back. And before we talk about the match, Jacob, it seems we know who won the real life Punk feud since all three of them are back and Punk's nowhere to be found.
Punk's found. He's just doing random commentary for random ass MMA fights that no one knows about.
Yeah, which is super weird. And then, yeah, that was creepy. But he's not back at AEW at this moment in time.
No. Did we expect anything less though?
No, you can't fire the EVPs.
I mean, the Elite. It's in the name of the company. Like you're not getting rid of the Elite. So the Elite came back and faced Death Triangle for the trios titles, and they lost, which I was good with. I was happy with because there was no reason for the Elite to win those titles.
Yeah,
they had that big spat. All the shit went down. All the drama. Death Triangle has been there forever now, and they hold it down. They do a wonderful job. They deserve those titles. So when they lost, I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. Then like 3 minutes later, hey, we're doing a best out of 7 series for the fucking titles.
Yeah, I was confused about that because I'm like, when's the last wrestling best out of 7? Was that a Sheamus Cesaro thing before they became the Bar years ago? I was like, I didn't know we still did best out of 7s.
That's the most memorable one I can remember.
Like that, I was confused. I really was confused by that because it makes me think it has to get to 3-3 just for like. I don't think the Elite are going to get like swept or anything like that or lose quick. But
no,
I think they're going to win it in the end, though.
I don't think they should, though. It should be Death Triangle. I mean that's that. I know a lot of people bitch about the Elite booking themselves to win, and so when they lost, literally everyone that I seen online and talked to, they all thought the same thing. Like, this is great. Then like next day, hey, we're doing a best out of 7 series. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Jacob, how would you feel as a wrestler in that locker room, having them back, knowing what all went down? Because Punk said a whole bunch of things, and there had to be some people in the back saying like, oh, I wish I would have said that about like how the Elite act as EVPs. How do you feel like? Do you think they had to get the trust back, or do you think they just walked in like nothing ever happened?
I think for me, from an outsider standpoint, the way I look at it is I'd be happy they're back. And the reason I'm happy they're back is because they defended their product and themselves. So I can respect that from just as a man to man. Like I get that. I understand that. That makes sense. So I'm okay with it. It's the Elite. Everyone wants to see the fucking Elite. So
Next, you got Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose, and Jade Cargill comes out on top. I think the biggest thing from this is not even this match, Jacob, is that Jade has a real world, not a real world, but like a mainstreamish feud with former, he doesn't rap anymore, like former rapper Bow Wow. Like I think that's the thing that are drawing in some of the casuals right now about Jade. And she's been on the Breakfast Club, so she's getting a little bit more mainstreamy.
As she should. She's I know everyone talks about Britt Baker running the show and shit, but
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be Jade. And I'm okay with it. As of right now, as of December 1st, 2022, I'm good with it.
And
Let it happen. She's been holding that shit down.
she has. And the internet wrestling community loves to throw shots at other wrestlers. They said in a year's time, Jade has improved so much and she looks better than Ronda Rousey, which I was like,
That's not
oh, sweet Lord.
I mean, that's not hard to do.
Well, we'll get to that soon. But yeah, Jade, I mean, she's on fire. Her group and all of that, like the girls, like they're just killing it. So you had a fatal four-way for this championship match with a whole bunch of people that a lot of people know. Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, Claudio, aka Cesaro for people who knew him in WWE, and one of the pillars, good old Sami, that man is hated, and it's not even he is hated. But how did you feel with Jericho retaining over these three? Do you think that was the right decision? Should have went to someone else?
Part of me likes it because I'm a big Chris Jericho fan. Because let's face it, honestly, the dude is a Mount Rushmore esque wrestler at this point.
I agree. He gets left out of Mount Rushmore ish conversation. Obviously, you only have four spots, but to be in the conversation, I think is the biggest honor. And people leave him out. I mean, for me, he's been in my Mount Rushmore ish conversations ever since he beat The Rock in Austin in the same day. You
Yeah.
don't beat the two biggest dudes in history and not be in the conversation on the same day.
I mean, just the fact that the dude's reinvented himself so many times, and
Yes.
it's always entertaining.
Yes.
Some of the most memorable moments in wrestling history, like Mike promo wise, is Chris Jericho. I mean, you have to constantly say his name. Both have to
Mm-hmm.
shit done. But I was okay with Chris Jericho winning. I was happy with it. I mean, you do have Cesaro versus Chris Jericho coming up here for if Claudio loses, like he's got to be part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which then begs even way more different questions now regarding all that. Yeah, so all in all, I was good with it.
Next match, you had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Sahara, aka Paige Sahara, however you want to say her name. Jacob, I was nervous. Not gonna lie. When this match started, I'm like, please do not get hurt. Because again, we've said it on this podcast. Whoever approved her from here on going forward, if something happens to her, they are coming for that doctor's head.
Yeah, yeah.
But they did well, man. I mean, you talk Britt was the perfect opponent for her in her match back. She was going to take care of her, make her look good, and all of that. And obviously, Britt took the fall, and at the end of the match, they had a great moment that was just big seeing AKA Paige wrestle again after five plus years.
Sounds about right.
What did you think of this match?
Good with it. I wasn't concerned about it.
Okay.
I wasn't too concerned about because one, you have Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm.
She's a professional. Of course, Paige. I'm just calling her Paige. I know I don't really care. It's just so much easier. So they're both professionals. They both know what they're doing. I have absolutely no doubt. They did this match probably 3 times before they even went to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean it's good. Like it's not like you're putting her in there with fucking Ryback or something.
That's actually two things. One, I just get nervous when like people come back from super big injuries. like when Daniel Bryan came back, when Edge came back, like stuff like that. But you're right, both professionals. And it's funny how you said Ryback because the next match has Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe. Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs, some big guys like Ryback. But how did you feel about Joe winning this? And my other question is, man, for like someone to casually keep up, AEW has a lot of belts.
Yeah, they went from having 2 belts to like fucking 37, and like
it's hard to keep up if you're a casual. Like, there's a lot of belts.
Problem is with all these fucking belts, like they haven't been. Of course, the world title means something, and the women's world title means something. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like I feel Jade has done the best job of representing a non-main belt.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I just feel like, of course, the tag titles. I mean, all the mid-card lower belts is what I'm talking about. I just feel like they haven't had enough time to cook. Like, they need to be more established and pristine. And, hey, you know, you're going fucking, you know, a lot of times it kind of feels like a 24/7 title-ish shit.
Yeah. And I like Samoa Joe, but I was just sitting here, I was like, dude, we got too many titles. Like, we need to... They need to get defended better. I don't want to say better, but more emphasis on them, or some just need to go.
Yeah. But back to the match, like, good match, big guys, you know, standard big fucking dude match. Mm-hmm. A lot of meat in that ring. And but I was kind of shocked Samoa Joe won.
Because Joe like, 2 belts now.
Yeah, I'm like, well, what the fuck are they going to do with Wardlow now? Like, Wardlow wasn't officially a pillar, but honorary pillar, you could say.
Point. That's a good point. Yeah.
What are you gonna do with him now?
You're obviously not going to throw him in the main title picture right now.
Hell no. No, I mean, in a way, I guess we can talk about that later, but I guess you could, theoretically. You definitely could.
Wouldn't that be too early, though?
Way too early. You just can't have him win.
That'd be bad.
But you can't have him win. We can talk about that later. Yeah, we'll bring that one up later.
Jacob, man, Jeff Jarrett, your favorite AEW signee of all time, was here with Jay Lethal and Sting and Darby Allin. I just love bringing up the Jeff Jarrett AEW signing because it still to me makes 0 sense. But Sting and Ali defeated Jarrett and Lethal. Did you care?
No, I didn't get 2 fucks.
Okay.
Like, which is sad. Which is really sad because, man, years ago, if you would have told me, like, hey, we're going to have Sting in a match, Darby Allin, Jay Lethal in a match, you'd be like, dude, that's so fucking awesome. That's going to be a killer match. It's going to be so good. All 3 are fucking amazing. You throw Jeff Jarrett in the whole mix, I'm like, dude, fuck this match.
Yeah, it was true.
Like, I hated on Christian's fucking debut. God, I hate fucking Jeff Jarrett so much more.
No, I was calling him Darby Allin when it's Darby Allin, but that's okay. But this match, before we get to this one, Jesus, we still have so much more. But this one really had me, not because of the quality, but because it was finally, there's so much stuff going in this. I'm talking about the interim world title match between Toni Storm and Jamie. Toni, and now she's relinquished the interim title part. Thunder Rosa, there was real shit going on because they were really just like, hey, if you're injured, you need to get that title off. And then it's like, whoa. I mean, I'm trying to come back. Like, there was some real stuff going on. And when Toni won the title, when we reviewed it when she won, we were all shocked because we were like, Toni. But last time we talked, Toni wanted this opportunity, and I haven't been I wasn't impressed. And I like Toni Storm. It's just, I don't think she really like took the ball with it. Am I being too hard on her?
Nah, you're 100% right. That was a fucking shitty title run. Like, that was like a bad attempt of letting the title make you. not you make the title type deal. And dude, yeah, I like Toni Storm. That sucked. She's fucking. I don't want to say boring, but listen, if I see her come up in a match, like, hey, I gotta go take a piss. I really don't care if I go and miss this match. It's not the end of the world for me.
Yeah, now you got Jamie as true champ. No interim, nothing. That just happened a couple days after Full Gear. It's her time, man. A lot of people, she's been a fan favorite. A lot of people have been asking for Jamie to be champ. And here we are. I already know. I've seen some criticism like, man, why are they letting Britt Baker talk for her so much? She needs to talk for herself. When are they going to separate? Like, what do you think we're going to get out of this Jamie run? Because this is a fresh face as champ.
You have a lot of options you can go with. Certainly, I have to imagine her and Britt Baker are going to end up feuding. I think that's going to. I think. I don't know. Just off the top of my head, something I could see. I could see Jamie versus like Paige.
I was gonna ask that. Good point. I'm literally gonna ask you: are they gonna do the same thing that they did with Punk? A couple because what they gave Punk was it even a full year before he won the title?
Yeah,
because he came back last summer's. He came back like around that summer because everyone was coming back at 2021 summer, but it wasn't like summer 2022 when he won the title. They didn't win it like this year because he's already had it. Are they going to do the same thing with Paige? Couple matches here or there, then their next mega big pay-per-view in the summer in 23, her versus Hater. We all know Paige is going to win.
I don't know. Couple different options you can go with here. Off the top of my head, I could see them having a match and having Britt Baker accidentally or on purposely fucking up the match for Jamie Hayter. Therefore, you can lose the title, feud up with Britt, and then go back after the title. You could do something like that, but you have a lot. But then you have fucking Jade Cargill in there.
Like, sooner or later, she is going to have to actually. Yeah, it's sooner or later. She's gonna have to. I mean, I don't know if they'll have her drop that and then go there, but sooner or later, it's gonna be time for her.
Yeah, because when she comes up, whether to be whether she's going to drop the title or not, she could go into she'd go for double champ status.
She could,
and but fuck, I don't know. I don't know where you go with this, but I am excited though because, like you said, this is a brand new fresh face.
Yes,
this is good. Hey, here's the ball. Run the court. Do your thing. Make it happen.
Yeah, and even though this is a WWE reference, Alexa Bliss was on Bleacher Report, and she talked about they were asking her if she wanted to be champion again, and she said she was super excited when Liv won because you see and I know this was a sneak diss. You see the same people winning the championship all the time in the women's, especially currently now. So I almost felt the same way about AEW. It's like, man, whoever beats Britt's going to be champ. Like I was like, Tony, she won, but it was just I didn't believe she was going to go like a 6-8 year run thing. I was waiting for Rosa to come back to put her back on the ball so she could drop it properly. But Jamie is a whole new face as the main women's champion of a wrestling promotion. So we're going to wait and see.
Which is honestly probably the best thing
for
that division currently right now. Like legitimately, like, hey, let's go fresh, start from new, let it run.
Yeah, because whenever Rosa comes back, she will get her title shot back.
If she comes back.
Oh.
Got fucking real heat.
That is true. Oh, we're thinking that is true. Like it was getting rough. I didn't think people and Rosa and the women, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I don't know if she got arrogant because she became the new champ after Britt. Like, you said if, so you're thinking it's going to be that hot?
I'm just going by what I see. Mm-hmm. What I see is someone who had the championship. I get if you're going to take off for medical reasons or personal reasons or whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be that champion, you got to do the fucking job.
Yeah.
You got to drop that fucking belt because you're just at that point you're being fucking selfish. You don't even have to wrestle a fucking match. You can go like, hey, I got some personal shit I got to deal with. I'll be back. Don't worry. Until that time, this belt deserves to be defended.
How much is that on? Man, I was going to go a whole thing without mentioning his name almost. How much is that on Tony? Because he's like, you're going to be like, hey, man, what are the doctors saying? If you're going to be out for, we can't have this interim title for a month, man. Like, we'll drop the title. You'll come out, like you said, drop it. When you come back, you're first in line, and we go from there. Like, how much is that on Tony to just let that drag?
I don't know, because it seems to me like Tony's too nice of a fucking boss.
Yeah.
Like, dude's got to put his fucking foot down. But Tony Khan, at the end of the day, is a true fan. Dude is a fan of these wrestlers, of his product, just in general. Just a fucking fan. So, maybe not growing up in the business, like Triple H or Vince or anyone else, like those guys will be like, nah, fuck that. We ain't doing this. That's not fucking happening.
Yeah.
Tony's like, oh, let's work together, guys. Like, trying to be like the fucking nice boss, but sometimes you just gotta put your fucking foot down.
Yeah, we got one of the top 3 best things in AEW, one of the top 5, 10, whatever. They're one of the top best things in all of wrestling. The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory. Man, Jacob, like they say, everyone loves the Acclaimed. Hell everybody. Yeah. I think the weird thing about this is Swerve and Lee, this was like their official breakup. Wasn't seeing that coming.
I mean, you can see cracks in the relationship, Keith being Keith, good fucking guy. Swerve, definitely more heelish. But yeah, fucking God bless the fucking Acclaimed. Literally, in my opinion, the best, or probably the second best thing in wrestling right now, as of SummerSlam. Or not SummerSlam, Jesus Christ. As of Survivor, we'll talk later about that. But in my opinion, as of right now, second best thing in fucking wrestling.
Fair enough. And they rightfully went on top. You have the main event, Jon Moxley, MJF. MJF, man, he cut some promos on Bleacher, other sites, how he's generational, was naming San Martino, Undertaker, Austin, Rock, Cena. He said he is one of them. He's one of the generational wrestlers in here. Jacob, MJF, there's a lot that went into this. People are chanting new champ. Everyone wanted MJF to win this because it was finally time. Shoot, if I remember correctly, he asked the lady consent and put his face in her breast before going to the ring. If this was the same match, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, he's a true professional.
Yeah, he's like, even the devil can ask consent.
Yeah. Fucking God bless it. I was like, that's fucking good shit.
Yeah. Jacob, it was really hard for me, man. Because when MJF won, I was like, it's about time. It really is. By any means necessary, William Regal getting involved. By any means necessary. But man, it's hard because this wasn't the match. It was supposed to be him and Punk. And I know we've talked about this on podcast, but I kept thinking about it. I was like, I really think that would have been the biggest match in the past 10 years. And it all got fucked away.
Yep. 100%. I agree with you. I thought the same thing. It's like fucking this should have been CM Punk versus fucking MJF, and it would have been just fucking awesome.
If it was Punk MJF, I think, no disrespect to Jon Moxley, but man, MJF was really killing him on some things. He's like, especially the media thing. He's like, I'm the only real star in this damn company because I'm going to go shoot a movie after this. And I'm like, oh, he isn't a movie now. But I'm like, if that was Punk and MJF, this would have had significantly more mainstream appeal.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like the wrestling version of when McGregor faced Mayweather.
Yeah.
Listen, the boxing match fucking no one gave a shit about.
Correct.
The lead up. Lead up to the match is the best part. It's not the destination, it's the journey right there. And no offense to Moxley, but you're right. It would have been 8 times better if Punk was on.
And Moxley's their Captain America over there. Because ever since when the Punk thing happened, again, we gave him praise last podcast. He was supposed to go on vacation for 6 months for carrying the damn company. And then he had to come back, win the title again, which I still think maybe Bryan Danielson should have won that match, but it's neither here or there. And he carried the stuff, and he's right back in a feud with Hangman Page. I'm like, give this man a break.
I gotta imagine that was on his call, though. I mean, yeah,
I agree.
Jon Moxley has enough clout. He has enough pull. If Moxley wants to go, hey, I need some time off. Hey, I want to take my vacation. Hey, I want to spend time with my family. He can do that. And he deserves that. But I got to imagine this is some sort of storyline that's going to end up writing him off TV for a bit.
Yeah, because I guess with the family, too, Tony Khan did the next best thing and just hired his wife. So that works, too. But you were alluding to it earlier. He's finally champ, and again, I was happy. Like, I don't want listeners to think I wasn't happy he won. I wanted this dude to win this title so bad, but I wanted him. He deserved that once in a lifetime match, like build up and everything. He deserved it because for many people, he's the reason they watch AEW to see what this man has to say because he is a must listen, must watch.
Yeah. So here's my question for you. What did you think of Regal turning on Moxley?
At first, I was like, what the hell? In hindsight, on November 19th, now December 1st, no, 19th, I was like, what the hell? Survivor Series comes and Triple H drops that Wargames video with like Regal's complication of saying Wargames. I'm like, Now December 1st, I'm like, oh, they're saying Regal's contract's up. He's probably not going to re-sign. He's going to go, and Triple H is going to swoop him again. So I'm like, was he just doing this for a send-off and all that? But then he has to leave now because MJF just turned on him this Wednesday.
Yeah, it was really fucking weird. Because
so he has to be leaving.
That'd be my guess. Because honestly, like, I looked at it like this. When Regal turned on Moxley, aligned with MJF, I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? And then I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to be so good. Because heel Regal is better than face Regal. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Heel Regal is fucking phenomenal. A lot of younger people haven't seen that. So, let's get fucking heel Regal with the best heel in wrestling right now, and let's fucking go. Like, this is going to be amazing. Fast forward to this past Wednesday, MJF takes out Regal, and you're like, what the fuck? Then it's like, oh shit. Like, his contract's allegedly up. And it's like, well, let's say it's not up. What the fuck do you do with him?
You can't do anything because the night that Wednesday, Moxley came out, was about to kill Regal, and Bryan Danielson came out, like, man, this guy saved my life, blah, 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 type shit. And freaking Jon Moxley hit Regal with the freaking Simba to Scar line from the Lion King, saying run away and never come back. I'm like, is Jon Moxley quoting the Lion King right now? So now you X'd him out of that combat club. That's done. So he has to go to MJF. MJF says, fuck you. You're done. You have no one else to run to. So he has to be leaving, or that's a very bad booking decision.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The only thing I could think to do with Regal right now is to throw him in Ring of Honor and let him run a Ring of Honor like an NXT.
Or you got rid of his on-screen character and he's just in the back doing stuff.
Which also works.
What?
Also works.
MJF's post game, yeah, post media scrum. That line is going to be forever iconic, man. The thank you, fuck you, bye. Like that is top shit.
Yeah, and were you shocked they did a scrum?
I was nervous. I was like, dude, I can't do this again. Even though he did categorize every time it was supposed to be his time, someone at this damn company legit, not work, legit got in the way just of how things work. He's like, my biggest return got screwed over by a press. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was nervous, man, because I'm like, man, the last time I sat and watched one of these, like, in real time, close enough, I'm like, it didn't go well. So, but the thank you, fuck you, bye is the greatest GIF of the year.
It's great. MJF is money.
Where do we go with him? What's happening? What do we do? Who's up first? How long do we make the reign last? It's got to last a year.
It's got to last or at least the bidding war of 2024.
That's another I'm sorry. He's I don't know if other people are getting hooked by it. That's getting me every time. It is hooking me in to really see when 2024 hits, what is going to happen and who is going to sign this man, because he's making me a believer.
Must watch television. Must watch television.
He is making me a believer, man. Every promo, he's like this, Nick? Yeah, right. I'm going to talk to my guy Nick Khan and my buddy Triple. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, if Triple H offered him $6 a year, would he leave? Would Tony Khan match $6 million a year? Like, I'm really like thinking that in my head.
$6 million a year.
Would he leave?
Triple H will fucking do it. He's got WWE money, but Tony Khan has Tony Khan money.
Yes! Like, would he match, though? Because I don't think anyone on AEW is making $6 a year.
I don't know what the EVPs are making, but...
Well, they don't count. They have 2 roles.
I wonder what fucking Punk made. Like, I would love to know what his contract.
That's a good barometer. Because you know MJF's going to want double what Punk made.
I'm going to want at least fucking double and $1 more than what he made. I want whatever it is, double it, triple it, add $1 just out of spite.
But yeah, I was going to ask, do you like that bidding war is getting me pumped, like it really is. But with MJF, do you have him go against an experience, like an established named first, or do you have him go like one against these pillars, Young Bucks? What do you do first?
It's a great question. You have options, but it's like, which way do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
Which road do you want to take? Because it's all going to end up in the bidding war 2024.
Yeah.
So, but how do we get there? You do have the Wardlow option. There's beef there. There's past there. That's a storyline that writes itself. That's the first one that comes to mind. Do you have him go up against Kenny?
I mean, that's how you'll really solidify it. Like, he's here to stay if he beats Cletty clean in a feud, like 1, 2, 3 heel clean.
Yeah. Of course, Claudio, Daniel Bryan, either of those guys.
You think Paige gets back in the mix after he's done with Moxley?
It depends on how the storyline goes with Moxley. That varies.
I also don't want Moxley just thrown right back in here in 2 months.
Right, exactly.
Because then we have a problem. Because then I'm gonna have to start bitching.
Yeah. You gotta somehow keep Moxley either on vacation, or B, you had to put him in good storylines away from the title.
Yeah.
The only way to do it right now. Okay. But eventually you're going to get that Moxley match back. It's going to happen. That's another, way you can go. I mean, do we take Keith Lee's going to be on a singles run?
That's true, but
do we throw Keith Lee in the mix?
MJF is so hard because, like, when you're putting something with him, do you try and put someone who can at least compete against him on the mic? Because that dude is at the top of the mic game right now in wrestling. And it's going to be hard for him to just kill everyone on the mic because, like, oh, well, he killed him, so we know he's like, do you want someone who could at least compete with him on the mic, or you want someone who matches up with him, like, physically, psychologically in the ring? Because I don't know if there's that many people who do both right now.
Yeah, you're just going to have to separate that from the only person that can do both consistently and can stay up with him. That's not CM Punk, because I'm pretending he's no longer in the company as of right now. You do have Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Do we want to throw him back in a feud with MJF? I mean,
that is true. Yeah,
we've seen it before, but I'll pay the price of admission to see it again. Yeah. They had they did a fucking entire musical act on AEW, and it was awesome.
I honestly think Bryan Danielson's the logical thing from a story perspective, because he can come in and say, you're the reason my best friend Regal is gone. You offer him whatever, and then you screwed him up in the end, and my whole Combat Club is... I think he's the logical story perspective-wise.
Yeah, that also worked.
Because he's trying to get revenge for Regal.
But then you also have to look at all these people and go, can they afford the loss to MJF? Are we good with basically and like sacrificing them to MJF? Because they're going to have to do the job. Because MJF's title run has got to be good. It's got to be long.
It has to be at least a year. I'm honest because I do think you got to take it to 20, at least as close to 2024 as possible, because then you add so much drama.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to take this title and I'm going to throw it in the trash on WWE.
Yeah, and shit will never be the same. Like because if they make him lose early, there's going to be an emergency pod because that's not going to be okay. He cannot lose at least till 2024. The title.
If he loses randomly on like a Rampage or a Dynamite out of the fucking blue, something's happening, and you know he's going to WWE.
That's what you think he signed.
That yeah, at that point, man, it'd either be the most logical move or the greatest swerve I've ever seen.
Yeah, it would be, or obviously the other one, injury without repair. But then I don't even know. I saw how long Thunder was interim. Like I'm going to be paying attention to that because it's like you're making MJF relinquish if he can't be there for like a month. Thunder Rosa she's been gone for almost months, and you still had the interim tag.
Right. And then also, I mean, you do have Darby Allin. You also have Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I don't want to fucking sacrifice them to MJF because when they move up, they have to move up and hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. I sacrifice Jeff Jarrett.
Fuck yeah! Have him just 100 guitar match. Well, just get the shit kicked out of him for 100 times with a guitar. I'd be happy with that. Fuck Jeff Jarrett.
Let's transition to the other big pay-per-view of the month of November, Survivor Series. We already said Triple H had the compilation of William Regal saying War Games on Twitter. That was great. First match was at War Games. Team Belair, Bianca. Hey, also another thing that happened while we're gone. Becky Lynch is back. Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim versus Team Danger Control, Bayley, Dakota, Io, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. As Team Belair wins the match, Jacob, I saw a tweet saying, "Man, the only people who could stop Bianca's Belair's momentum right now is John Cena and Goku." Obviously, Becky's the one who comes out with the pin. She jumped off the top on 2 of Damage Control on the table, got that pin. Jacob, I liked the match. These girls were all going. They were all doing well. I did see a little thing like the end when Team Belair won that like Alexa was just like she wasn't all super happy like everyone else. And then I still think this Bray thing is teasing.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that because I've seen the same thing. And I'm like, that's odd. Huh.
But I do know, like, if you remember when Becky was transforming into the man, she did take some personal shots at Bliss, talking about how she's always hurt. So I do know, like, they're not the greatest of friends, but it just looks like this Bray thing is a slow burn, that she's going to transform back or he's going to come and get revenge.
Yeah. I mean, Bray's a whole separate entity right now. So
what do you think of the match, though?
It was fine. It was fine. I mean, I'm going to say this later, but I'll just say it now too. I hated the fact that Bianca was in this match.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why they put Bianca in the match. I just didn't like it.
I do think we see a lot of potential things that can happen. You can obviously go a Becky, Rhea Ripley, because they've had some stare down since she's been back. You can go that route. Obviously, we called them like a John Cena Batista thing. You can have Bianca and Rhea finally get that match because Rhea literally had heart problems during that Money in the Bank. That's why she couldn't perform. There's some things going in. I was just peeping around because, for people who don't know, this is WWE's last pay-per-view of the year. The next time they're on pay-per-view is Royal Rumble. So we are going to have a long build to the Rumble, which this Rumble might be the most unpredictable yet.
Is it?
The guys.
Is it?
If The Rock doesn't show, the guys is the most unpredictable yet.
Oh, yeah. If The Rock doesn't show, but yeah.
I don't know who you're going to pick for the women.
Huh?
Who are you going to pick for the women?
I don't know yet. I don't know. Because honestly, one of my favorite things that came out of this match was Rhea and Asuka.
Yeah.
Asuka's just been tearing her up on social media, and it's been fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and fucking Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio showing up to Ray's house, whooping his ass, and then saying they did it because he put his Christmas tree up too early. God, those two are insufferable, and it's great.
Well,
Ray hasn't had a good win since 2006.
Well, again, Ray is great. Dominic's terrible, minus his mullet. His mullet's on point.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking wonderful. But other than that, like, their dynamic is good. I can't stand Dominic. Fuck it. Their dynamic is just wonderful.
I agree. Next match you had was AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. The crazy thing about this is that AJ Styles hadn't won like a main match on a pay-per-view since before COVID.
Jesus.
It was since 2019, and I saw that stat, and he was like on a 10 big pay-per-view losing streak. And it's weird to...
Where do you find these stats at? Like, holy shit.
Dude, it was weird. I'll have to look it up and because they gave the whole list of the pay-per-views, but Styles beating Balor, I was just like, thank the gods, it's finally time that he won a match. What did you think? I mean, I think both men are professionals. I wasn't going to be concerned about this match. What did you think of this match?
I mean, AJ Styles is so good, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He's that good. I would have wanted to see Finn win, though, over Styles. Just going forward.
I will say, this is Finn Balor's... Where the hell is it? This is Finn Balor's, like, last... He hasn't lost. Like, he's being protected. Triple H has protected that guy. So...
Right.
Well, and AJ Styles thing is his first pay-per-view, and his last win, his singles pay-per-view win was 2019 against Humberto Carrillo. That was his last win on pay-per-view.
Who the hell's Humberto Carrillo?
I think he was he's one of the guys. He was in that, I'm trying to think, it was one of the luchador Mexican groups.
Oh, okay, like Lucha House Party or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on a 10 pay-per-view losing streak.
Fuck, well, I mean, if you beat some guy, I have no idea who the hell it is. I'm just gonna... Holy shit. But that's something, but it was a good match. I mean, did we expect anything less?
No. That was easy money. The next match is going to be the same. Did we expect anything less? Because the next match was the worst match on the card.
Oh, fucking Shotzi and Ronda.
Shotzi and Ronda. So 2 positives from this. 1, Shotzi being the number one contender, as we talked about. That was fresh. I never thought she'd be a number 1 contender in her whole wrestling. I know that might be a little harsh. I never thought she'd be a number 1 contender. There's too many people right now. No disrespect to her. 4 horsewomen: Asuka, Bianca, Rhea, Alexa, Io. I thought there was too many people.
But she has something the rest of them don't.
The tank?
Besides the...
Which was another positive, having that back.
It was the fact she can take the loss and nothing changes.
That's a good point.
Literally nothing changes.
That's a really good point.
If someone else bigger takes that loss, it means more than fucking Shotzi, because no one gave a fuck about this match at all, in the slightest. No one cared.
That's a really good point. I actually did not think of it like that. I just thought of it from when I'm watching that match. I'm like, this is terrible. Ronda did not want to take that bump outside the ring. That was bad. That was bad. I
mean, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and ask this, because I've been known to be slightly biased in the past. Has there been one moment Ronda Rousey's done and you're just like, holy shit, this is amazing? I can't think of fucking one.
You know what's crazy? Because people were asking how she's regressed. I think her debut match at WrestleMania was good. Like, I didn't expect her to be that. Well, she was in there with Triple H and like Kurt Angle.
There were Triple H and Kurt Angle. Fucking Christ, they're gonna make her look phenomenal.
And like Stephanie being like, from being like the boss bitch to being like scared of shit. She always does that really well. But I feel like my favorite Ronda match wasn't even because of her. My favorite Ronda match is her and Charlotte at Survivor Series because that was the one time I have rooted for Charlotte with all of my heart to beat that woman.
Yeah.
But again, I was sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm fed up. I've had enough. Charlotte, you've been gone for almost a year. It's time to come back and take this fucking title. Like I'm fed up. And she's the only one. We've said it for. She's the only one who can do it.
Her and Becky.
But do you even Byron? Shout out to him because he'll be. But he even's like, I don't even know if I want Becky and Ronda anymore after watching that match. Like, it doesn't have the same luster for me anymore. That's what he said, and that's what a lot of the internet wrestling community is saying.
You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong at all. I mean that fire's not white hot anymore, and just, no one really fucking cares anymore.
Let me give you something else that I saw today that's going to get you super pumped because God knows this. They need some 4 horsewomen on that side. There's rumors that the Royal Rumble's women's match is going to be Ronda versus Raquel for the title.
Oh God! I mean, it makes sense because no one gives 2 shits about Raquel,
and Raquel is Dakota's friend, so she wants to avenge her friend.
No one fucking cares. No one fucking cares.
I want Ronda and Shayna. I do want to actually see that.
No, that intrigues me.
Yeah,
because I could see Ronda doing the job and dropping the title
for her friend.
Yes, I could see that, and I'd be okay with that. That's Jesus Christ. I never thought I'd say it, but that's the only fucking match that intrigues me.
Yeah, which we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this match was over before
I'd be
it started.
happy to see Shayna with a fucking title again.
That's a whole other. I agree. This match caught a lot of people by surprise on how good it was. People saying the best match of the night. Seth, Bobby, and Austin. Seth Rollins, man, for a guy, he has put a lot of people over. And he's one of the top, what would you say, top three stars in WWE?
Oh, number 2.
Number 2.
Just plain across the board. Number 2, because he's carried fucking Raw.
He has.
And carried that. Put the team on your back.
And Bobby Lashley's presentation it's been really good these past runs. Like, this dude's been a dominating force, just beating the shit out of people. And Austin Theory losing that briefcase, which shocked a lot of people, but now it's transformed Austin into a hungry wrestler on the storyline, because it's one of those things that where, as Roman Reigns said, Daddy's not here to save you anymore. You need to be a man and do this shit yourself. And to shocking everyone, Theory won the title. Like, but what'd you think of this match? Because I was digging it, man. They were all working hard.
All right. If we're going to talk about this match, we have to talk about the absolutely beginning
of the Beyblades?
The fucking Beyblades. All right. So, paint a picture. It's me, my wife, and our 2 friends are over here. We're watching Wargames.
Mm-hmm.
Or Survivor Series Wargames.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Theory comes out, and it's fucking Beyblades. And I thought the camera crew, truck crew, fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, they're putting a fucking advertisement over his Beyblade, like over his intro. I'm like, oh my God, that's so, like, they have to be ribbing him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has to be a fucking joke. And then Michael Cole starts talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, they're really fucking advertising Beyblades. I'm like, first off, Beyblades are still a thing.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea. But all right, so Beyblade's a thing. And I was laughing. I was joking because I was like even asking like my wife, I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing since WrestleMania in the Mike's Harder match with Shinsuke and Rick Boogs was just a giant advertisement. I'm like, this is just a fucking advertisement for Beyblades. Like, how much sponsor money did they throw into this?
Yeah, I see Selena Vega and some others doing some Beyblade advertising as well. I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, ooh, Beyblades. Okay.
But at first I'm like, I was like, this is fucking hilariously dumb. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go Austin Theory. I'm like, I want the Beyblade boy to fucking the boyhood dream come true for fucking Austin Theory. I was laughing because it was a joke. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and then the match is going. I'm like, fuck, this is actually a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
very good. And I was like, fucking, and then like, I'm like off my seat, like cheering for fucking Austin Theory. Just ridiculous, just to make myself laugh. So like, hey, he ain't gonna fucking win. And then the fucker won, and I'm like, holy shit. Let's go, Austin Theory.
Man, you already know, internet Western community, they were already saying Austin Theory is what Sami wishes he was. I was like, oh my gosh. Sami Garvia, I was just like,
because okay.
Not okay. Sammy's, no, not Sami Uso, but Sami Garvia.
All right, well, I mean, Sami Guevara.
They actually are kind of similar. There was one where they were both wearing a leather jacket, and I was like, oh man, they actually do kind of look similar.
I mean, they're both good in their own right. I mean, Sami Guevara in ring talent wise is fucking phenomenal.
He is.
Like, he's really good. But seeing this hungry Austin Theory is completely revitalized, rejuvenated his entire character. This is the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, and Triple H said it in their post game thing. He's post game. Yeah, I'm calling him post games. But he is just like, yeah, he went from having nothing after he lost the briefcase to now you see like this is what he could really do when he's actually like focused. And I really like that. It was a good move. Get that briefcase off him, actually make him work. You get to the main event, Team Bloodline versus Team Brawling Brutes with Drew and Kevin. On Friday Night SmackDown, Kevin's talking to Sami saying he needs to take out the Bloodline before they take him out. Jay overhears it. Sami lies to Jay. Jay tells Roman on Saturday. Roman calls Sami in. Sami tells him the truth, gives him a hug. All that just leads up to the match. And it got to the point, too, where Jay was in there first. And then Jimmy was going to go help him. This is one of my favorite spots in the match. Wasn't even mad. Jimmy's going to go help him. Roman grabs him by the shirt, says, points at Sami, tells him to go in there. So you got Sami and Jay for a bit. Obviously, we know Roman was the last one in. Bloodline was going to win, but they're Jacob, man. The Bloodline, they are them. They are it. This story is phenomenal with Sami.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Paul Heyman because of a couple things. One, when they're doing when Roman's talking to Sami in the back, and Paul just sitting in the corner, holding his titles and just staring the whole time like a concerned boyfriend. It's fucking hilarious, and I love it, and I'm here for it. And then also, when they go out to the cage and stuff, Roman gives Paul that I want to say a Hawaiian lei, but I know that's not right. Whatever the fuck it is. And Paul like kisses it, and I'm like, this is like way to just put in the character. I love it. I also love the fact that during all of that, Roman's just sitting down in a chair.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is staying like, let's go. Roman's just like, nah, you keep your ass in here. You go. And like, fucking awesome. And this is the best thing in wrestling right now. This is the only thing that's topping the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
This is so fucking good right now.
And then you think about it too, for people who didn't see the finish, like you think it's finally going to be time. Sami's going to turn. He hits Kevin in the nuts. And you're like, holy shit.
Honestly, good for Sami considering how many times Kevin has fucked him over, I guess. It's like, kind of deserved it.
And Sami and Jay, they team up and they take out Kevin and then they win. This, to me, Jacob, I don't know like the exact number set, but this is the first time in a very long, long time that Roman Reigns has been involved in a match and he didn't get the pin. Like, that's just storytelling how it was Sami and Jay put aside their differences to work together to get this win for the Bloodline. You finally see Jay and Sami embrace. Like, that is good storytelling.
Oh, it was so heartwarming. I mean, Roman didn't need the win.
He did it, but typically he gets that last. It's just weird. It was weird for me, like, holy shit. Sami and Jay are the ones who are going to win it for him.
Well, Sami and Jay, I can't believe I'm saying this. They're the bigger storyline. And Roman, like, I seen someone post this, and I was like, it really got me thinking. Every pay-per-view, I know Roman doesn't, he's part-time, full-time. Fine. But every pay-per-view he has is a very story-driven, sports entertaining, driven, purposely done match. And it moves a storyline on every time.
Agreed.
And it's done extremely well.
Agreed. No, I 100% agree with you. And he was talking about it too, like, look what the bloodline they have created a lot of stars. Like Sami, this is the biggest Sami has been in WWE in a mainstream way. Like not the what was his title in NXT? The underground wrestler from the the underdog from the underground?
The underdog from the underground.
Yeah, he ain't the underdog no more, and he ain't in the underground. This dude is a mainstream. Undertaker was just shouting on praise like he's like Sami Zayn's what makes the bloodline work so well. Dude, you're getting rubs from Taker now.
Yeah. Also, like, shout out to Solo.
I love him.
Fucking, I know, like, everything was basically revolved around Sami and Jay. Understandably so. But dark horse of that match, Solo. Holy fuck. I mean,
he literally he kills me. He doesn't talk, doesn't smile unless Sami makes him break character, which that's also a great thing, seeing Sami make all these people break character. But he just whoops ass and just goes to work, whoops ass, and leaves.
Yeah, it's good. It's done right. It's not too much. It's tasteful. It's, sprinkling some parsley on top of your dinner. It just nice little fucking pop here. It just brings it just fucking nice. I love it. I fucking love it. Solo's going to be someone big.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I mean, I've seen the rumors. I'm going to throw this out there. What if Solo is the guy that fucks over the bloodline?
Oh, because we know it's going to be, we know it's going to be Sam, but wow, that's sports entertain on a whole new level, because that's one we would not see coming.
I mean, if he fucking Solo's in his fucking name, all right? He's the forgotten brother. He was the guy that didn't get fucking brought up, had to fucking battle his way up, blah, 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 whatever. There's a fucking storyline here. I can see it, and I'm okay with it.
People are saying like he's like the elder sultan for a real reason to take out Rome, and that, like, dude, that would, holy shit, that would be crazy. I am seeing rumors though that
seed in the back of your mind and let it grow, because it's going to be stuck there now.
Dude, that's crazy. Like, holy shit. Now I'm going to be thinking about that. There's rumors that it's going to be Kevin and Roman at the Royal Rumble, because I do want to say again, this was the last pay-per-view for WWE to the Royal Rumble. So, Jacob, we're really going to be on the track to WrestleMania now, every podcast going forward.
Dude, I got to fucking bring out my Mr. Consistent card again, because I haven't had that in a minute. I do think we should come back later in December with, like, some of our favorite moments of the wrestling year. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so we are going in the rest. Oh, something else. What's up with the beef between Roman and Kevin?
So apparently, we saw Kevin smacked Roman first. Apparently, it was just too hard. That was it. So, you get hit too hard. You think someone's taking liberties with you. You know how wrestling is. That's how it all started. That was it. Obviously, they both finished the match.
Lesnar fucking right hooked Braun Strowman, and they were perfectly fine.
Yeah, so.
Slow the fuck down. One of my favorite things ever.
Speaking of Braun Strowman, Triple H said you ain't going to be doing that shit here, and had him lose to Ricochet.
Which
Vince McMahon would never.
Which is good, because Ricochet fucking needs it. That's That's a guy The Rock personally shouted out and said this guy's going to be a freaking headline WrestleMania main eventer champion, blah, blah, blah. And fucking good God, he got to the main roster and they didn't do shit with him, but that was in the Vince McMahon era. We're in the Triple H era.
Yeah. And we're really going to see, man, because I know War Game, it was a good War Games. We're going to see what he has in store for Royal Rumble. So this is going to be him picking.
Yeah. It's going to be good. I mean, all right, so we're theoretically 2 podcasts out from the, give or take, to the Royal Rumble podcast, pre-show podcast.
Which Byron is going to be back. Hopefully get Justin on. I know for a fact, Byron, the captain, always comes for the road to WrestleMania. He's on every pod on the road.
Yeah, if we need Goldberg to come back since Justin's going to be on. I need that.
I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
But all right. So, have you thought about who's going to win the Rumble? Like,
I really have, because since there's no pay-per-views, I don't see Roman is not going to lose for the rest of the year. I don't think Bianca is going to lose for the rest of the year, and I know Ronda's not going to lose. So those titles, I'm like, whoever women's wise, are you going to challenge Bianca? Or are you going to challenge Ronda? It has to be someone. Now I'm starting to kind of feel this. If Ronda's the Shayna Baszler thing, if it's not Charlotte, or Becky, Charlotte or Becky, because both those stories are the only ones that make sense. But then Charlotte and Bianca, because Bianca was on the interview saying, I'm almost at my goal. I've beaten 3 out of the 4 horsewomen, 2 in WrestleMania main events. And obviously Bayley, they had a huge feud. There's only 1 left, and it's the final boss. That sells itself. So it's like, but I don't know, man. Charlotte's healthy. She's just not there. They're saving her.
Is she going to win the fucking Rumble?
I've been thinking of, but Charlotte, to her credit, because she really could have come back anytime she wanted, and she hasn't, but now it's one of those absence makes the heart grow fonder. God damn, they need her on SmackDown, because at least SmackDown, she'll win, but she'll put some people over in the match, damn it. Ronda's champ, it's just like, I know she's not losing to a few select people. Charlotte, she's lost to a Naomi. I could see her. She let Carmella cash on her twice.
Yeah, but she won the title back like a day later. So
yeah, but at least to get that rub, man. The Nikki one was one of the worst ever, but they need her because the women's division in SmackDown's terrible. You compare SmackDown to Raw, it's night and day.
Yeah,
but the women's hard. It really is. And the men, if you take out, like every time I do it, take out Dwayne, because Dwayne does so much shit, but doesn't come back for his own stuff. Like yesterday, he just bought all these freaking candy bars from a place he used to steal from me. Because like, dude, you didn't even come to your 25th anniversary. Everyone else came back. Lesnar came back for his 20th. Like, goddamn, dude. But you take Dwayne out, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. These are people I think, Finn, Gargano. My dark horse right now, who will get a mega pop, returning Randy Orton. Because now there's some talks about he might not wrestle again because of the injury he got. But he comes back. So those are like 5. Just 5 off the bat. And there could be dark, like a month. Like there's so many. Solo now. You got me in the solo thing now.
Yeah, my dark horses right now are Finn. I could see Finn Balor possibly being the guy.
I can see it too. To take one title. Take one title.
Not at WrestleMania. I'm saying after WrestleMania. I can see.
Okay. If Dwayne comes, Roman beats Dwayne, then it's Finn who.
I can see Finn doing it because he's been this Judgment Day. I just feel like it's been a time filler, and I'm like, all right, why are we doing this time filler? There has to be something. Why are they
protecting him so well?
Bingo. And remember, Roman never beat Finn clean.
Oh, I know. I was there live. I was there live.
I mean, he didn't beat him clean. There's a story. You have fucking options.
And he has his group, too. Because no disrespect. Sami, you run into Rhea Ripley, you're getting your ass whooped. Like, Rhea Ripley she is a star, man. She is an X factor.
Dude, she's so over right now. Like the shit she's doing. Like I didn't mention this earlier, but she's so over. Like she very well could be the head of the fucking Judgment Day almost.
Which you might see. She's so over that Vicky Guerrero wore her shirt on AEW.
Hell yeah.
Like that's love, man. Like, dude, I don't know. It's when we get once I realized this was the last one, I was starting to be like, holy shit, I need to start having like real predictions for the Rumble. Like if Dwayne, again the men's, like I do think Cody, but I don't know how serious. Like I don't know if he's coming back in time. I don't know if they're just going to completely. This is Triple H picking the Rumble for the first time. Like this is it's going to be crazy.
And you had to, and it's so weird because I really don't think Roman's going to lose at Mania. I think it's going to be after. I've been saying that for a fucking year now.
You have.
But you had to put in someone so fresh, so new, so different that I had to question that, which comes down to Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Dwayne. Top 3, that's who I could see.
You don't see a dark horse like Seth taking one, because Seth has been putting all these people over for a year. He's going to get due for a run.
I guess I could
Seth
see
never technically lost to Roman either. He never lost.
I feel like that's too safe though.
Okay.
Like I've seen that. I've seen it before. I guess I'll pay the price of admission, but I'm just going to be more reluctant to pay that price of the admission.
Because he's over. Can you imagine that crowd if he beats Roman? Whoa, like, oh my goodness.
He's fucking awesome. I mean, Seth, it's, once again, it's hard because both titles are one title or one person. So, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, fuck it. He can go to Raw. Fuck no, I guess he can't because Roman. You have
where's your guy Gabe Stevenson at?
Fuck, I don't know, dude. He's training in AEW.
Probably. He's doing. Man, remember when they had Baby Brock on W Parker, and then they're like, "Yeah, you gotta go." And then he's on AEW now. He was supposed to be the next big thing too.
Dude, they brought him and fucking what's her name, Eve Marie. Oh. Also, shout out to Eve Marie for thanking Vince McMahon like 6 months later after he fucking retired.
Fucking terrible. But no, man, I'm excited because every podcast now until literally that first week in February, we review the Royal Rumbles. What are we thinking? Who's coming back from injuries? Who's this? Who's that? Where's the stories going?
Yeah, he's going to be the fun surprises. Going to be a lot of fun surprises. But honestly, you almost don't need fun surprises because we have so many returns. We don't need other people just coming up being like, hey, I don't need Tatanka showing up at the fucking Royal Rumble.
I don't need Kane showing up either. He's going through some legal issues right now, so he should take care of those. But yeah, last thing, have you seen Stone Cold? He had to shut the rumors down. He's like, hey, I'm working out again because I looked in the mirror and I felt like shit. Don't start thinking I'm coming back again. Like, I was like, typical Steve.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, we got, in my opinion, the best send-off we could have ever gotten with Stone Cold last year at Mania. You can't write an ending better than that.
Yeah.
Let him just be Steve.
If Punk was patient, that would have been him.
Oh, that was another thing we didn't fucking get was Stone Cold versus CM Punk.
I still watch that promo for the video game WWE 13 and him, Steve, and JR. I still watch that like once every couple months because that shit was heat. Like I was like, oh, there's some real tension. Like they're getting me. Like I want to see them go at it.
I still play WWE 13. It's so
it's good. It's good.
So good.
Jacob, man, this has been fun. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Can't wait to come back in a couple weeks, talk some crazy, like our favorite wrestling things of the year, and also a couple weeks, L7C's legendary end of year podcast will be coming soon. Hopefully it's at a time where Jacob can be there and the whole crew with everyone. Gonna be sending those emails out actually probably tonight or tomorrow to see what scheduling. So I think I got a day I want to do it. So
well, send it out. If I can do it, I'll do it. If not, we'll do a second part and half the people will come back just to fucking be on the podcast with us. So I'm good with it either way. Apparently I'm a popular star here on fucking Outside and See.
Hey man, you're like you said, nickname Mr. Consistent, and now you're going to go to busy season.
Thank God. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Like I want to start banging out fucking podcasts again.
Yes. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. We really had a fun time doing this wrestling one because now we're in the road to WrestleMania. You're going to hear us say that probably for the next 3 months. So sorry about that. We're not going to be like Michael Cole when he's like, it's boss time. We're not going to be like that. But it is the road. We'll be back in a couple weeks talking some of our favorite moments of 2022. And yeah, this is the L7C signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.